Happy New Year's, guys. It is 2023 now, and welcome to Tom's Garage. First video of the year, and today something simple. Man said he was mulching leaves, and he got him too thick and tried to do too much, and bound up his deck and broke his deck belt on a John Deere S140. This one has got the electric PTO switch. You don't have a lever you engage the blades with. This one has an electric PTO clutch right there. So this belt is always under tension. Now, unlike a regular tractor, you know, you engage it with a big lever and disengage it and it'll slip and not operate the blades. But he broke his belt. This tractor is nearly brand new. Just broke it right there, snap. Didn't burn it or anything. It just simply broke it under a bind. He got into some real thick leaves trying to mulch. It's pretty straightforward. First thing you want to do is take these two covers off it. Cover the outside pulleys. It's just three 10mm bolts holding this one on. Just take a 10mm socket. It screws directly into the deck. It's threaded. You don't have a nut on the bottom. And always make sure you have these covers on there, and if they're damaged or missing, replace them, because they act as belt fingers. They hold the belt on there, and all that. When it flops, it doesn't come off. You've got two little areas on the inside of that cover, and the same way on this side. This little pulley here, not only, you know, it keeps you from getting your foot into it, getting on and off, but it's got two bolts here. Same thing, this pulley right there and there, it sits real close to that pulley and belt. Keeps it from flopping and coming off with you. So two 10mm bolts holding that on. And if you would take a good look, I took the time to rake all this debris out of this deck. You want to do that periodically. If you let it get too packed in there, fellas, you can cause a fire. So I just took my hands and dug it all out, and took my little air hose and blew it very gently. And I always keep a couple of hand blowers in here. When I have a job like this, I'll back the mower out and just take my hand blower and just blow the shop out. I have to do that about 2 or 3 times a day. All right, guys, let's go around here and let's look at the belt we have. This one is a GX21833 John Deere brand. I don't like using aftermarket belts. This is a deck drive belt. Both of them are called drive belts. This is a deck drive belt. It drives the deck. You also have a ground drive or a transmission drive belt that actually operates the forward and reverse in the tractor. And a lot of them use the, you know, I'll show you. I'll drop it and I'll show you. Here is all the models. I don't know how well I can focus on that, but those are all the models that use this same belt. All those models use the same deck drive belt, and there's another, like I said, a ground drive or a transmission drive belt. A lot of them will use the same belt, either this one or the transmission belt. And John Deere is nice enough to give you a diagram on how this thing goes. And Lowe's is a John Deere dealer. You can get OEM parts for John Deere at Lowe's, you know, some of the basic maintenance parts. This belt was about $60, $65 for that one. So, and if you look, without the belt even being on there, a good rule of thumb is when you don't know how it goes on there, if it's missing already, you could look at some of the pulleys and see this one is a V. So you know this belt is a V shape, so it's going to go on the outside of it. Some of these pulleys are flat, so you know the belt is going to go around the outside, the back side of the belt. Just like this one. This one's a V. This drives the middle blade. That one is a flat-sided pulley, so you know the belt will go on the outside of that pulley. So you can get kind of an idea without even looking at the diagram, kind of how that thing needs to go. And of course the PTO pulley is V, so it's going to go outside all the way over to the far pulley. Outside of that one, it comes back on the back side of this one. Comes around this inside of that one, outside of this one. It goes around the pulley. Then it comes back to here. Comes back around to here. It goes on the outside or inside, and it goes on the outside. So guys, we're going to change this belt, and we'll see how it goes. All right, you've got 3 pulleys here, here, and here that have the belt fingers on them. You can probably see here. This is what keeps the belt from coming off. There, you've got one here that holds it to this pulley, and then you've got one here that holds it to that pulley. So what you have to do, don't try to bend this out or try to get it through there. You'll cut the belt. What you have to do is loosen this nut and have enough play where you can get the belt out from around this. And that's just a 15mm nut there, there, and there. And this stud is actually made into this bracket, so you don't have to have a wrench under it or anything. It's welded perfectly smooth under there. So let's get to it. Let me get my little 15mm. Set this camera down somehow or another. There we go. 15mm socket. And these things can be kind of tight. A lot of videos will tell you to pull the deck off of it, and you don't have to do that. You know, you don't have to do that. I know I got a nice table to get it up off the floor, but still, you can do it in the floor. You still have to get on your hands and knees if it was in the floor to take the deck off. See, there's that. And let's see. It's easy to take this deck off anyway. You only got 3 mounting points. Ready? You don't have to take it all the way off, just about half loose. And this pulley will come up. Let me do it some more. Just enough to get the belt out from around that belt finger. All right. Now I'll come way out here to this one. I don't know the torque specs of these nuts, and I'm not going to worry about it as long as you give that thing a good oomph when you tighten it down. Don't break it, but there we go. That'll be enough. Pull that pulley up a little bit, get it off its seat. There we go. And it comes right out of that one. Whew. Now this one, this middle blade pulley has got this keeper arm. So I'm going to have to take it loose here, maybe even on the other side too. So let me shed some more light on this subject. Okay, let me grab my other wrench with a 10mm. Because right now you can't, there's not enough room to get that belt through there. You'll be so tempted to try to squeeze that belt through there, but you'll damage it. Man, I am tired. I sat up way too late last night. And that is just threaded right into the deck. There's no nut on the bottom of this deck to hold that, so it's just, with these you don't want to over tighten them. Okay. I may need to loosen that other one over there just a little bit, and this thing here will just maybe move a little bit out of the way. Let me go over here and find that other bolt. There we go. All right, that's not all the way off. It's just good and loose. Let's see what we can do with this. Oh yeah, that will move out of the way just so perfectly. Now we'll get this belt off here. With this belt being broke, you could have just grabbed the broke end and just slithered it right out of there, but then you have to figure out how it all goes back together. So never, if you break a belt, just don't pull it out, because you got to figure out how it goes back together. You got to look at the old one. There it is. Well, that is one long belt right there. I bet that belt's got to be 7 foot long. Okay, let me set this down and we'll get the new belt on there. But let me tell you, when you go to Lowe's or Home Depot and buy the belt, you know, they're all on the shelf. They all got these cardboard sleeves on there. If you need an expensive belt like this one was $60. You may see other belts for $15, $20. Be careful when you buy a belt. Look at the cover, GX 21833. Also look at the belt too. It'll say it on the belt somewhere. Yeah, 21. A lot of times what will happen is somebody that's less than honest will go in there and pull the cover off of a cheap belt and put their expensive belt in that sleeve. And then when you go get the belt you need, the belt is different than what you thought you were buying. So y'all be careful with that. Always look at the belt. I don't know why people would do that. Have no idea. And one thing, you know, Lowe's and Home Depot put these little safety things on there, so when you buy the belt and walk through the front door, it blows up on you. And beep, 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 beep. And then a bunch of people come running after you thinking you stole something. So to cut this thing off, man, you want to cut it right across this little fold with a pair of side cutters. And careful not to hurt the belt when you do that. Anti-theft device. And then it just comes off. And inside of this thing, they put that little strip, some kind of magnetic strip or something that senses the door. Okay, let's get this new belt on there. I got it unpackaged and unraveled. It's like trying to battle a big old anaconda or something. Put around that pulley, around this pulley, if I can do it without hitting the camera. All right, let's just get it up in there, go through there with it. Now, the way this thing holds tension on this belt is this big pulley right here is spring-loaded. That holds the tension. All right, first thing I'm gonna do, let's see, you gotta go through that one. It comes all the way over from this one to that one. And then this one goes on the outside of that one. And then it will go, let's see. It will come around here like that. Before I'm done though, I'm gonna double check the diagram anyway. Matter of fact, let me do that now before I get ahead of myself. Let's see, it's gonna go around that one, around that one. See, I got this one wrong. Usually they'll put a diagram on the bottom of this tractor somewhere or on the deck. But I don't see one on this John Deere. Let's see, this one's wrong. Get together right one boy. Okay, it goes from that pulley up around this one. I know I'm probably hitting that camera, making it bounce everywhere. Let's see, it's going to go around that one. Let's see. Let's see, it goes around that one. That way, around this one. Back around this one that way. Just take your time. Make sure you got it on right, because you don't want to have to buy a customer another belt you burned up. Goes around that one, and then it goes around this bar. Let's see, let's keep on looking at the diagram here. Let's see, it's gonna go around that one, all the way around the PTO and back, and around the back side of this one, and around this pulley. We can go around here and let's see. Let me look at the diagram one more time. Make sure it's right. Around there, around that one, around that one. Back to the PTO. And back around that one and around that one. So we're good. Now let's try to remember which side went through. Neither one of those is going to go inside of this bar. So just that. Okay, now we got it. Now we got it figured out. Let me go around here and put it on that other pulley over there. Okay. All right, now we got to get it around the PTO. Let's see. Usually I can just muscle this thing, but I don't have a whole heck of a lot of strength anymore. All right, there it is. Whew. Make sure the pulleys are fully seated in the little bearings. And now we can tighten the 3 nuts back up. Let's start by bolting this bar back down. It'd be nice if I could squeeze my impact in here, but they don't want to do that. Give it a good tightening there. Reach way over here. And if I can find it. There it is. Not too tight. Now we'll grab the 15mm and tighten these 3 nuts back down. Now I'm going to give this thing a good oof. There we go, that's good enough right there. Tighten this one back down. Now remember, this one's on a spring-loaded lever. It's gonna move with you. Make sure you hunker it down pretty good. There we go. Last one. There we go. Now, take one more last little gander down there. Make sure ain't nothing pinched. Everything's tight. Everything's on the pulleys right, inside the fingers. You've got 2 fingers on this pulley here. Make sure you see both of them and go inside both of them. I have personally done that before and ruined a deck belt. Okay, everything looks good. So now we'll put the covers back on. Whew, boy, that's got me tuckered out now. All right. Put the 3 bolts back in this side. And set the camera down. Oh, this reach is so much better. So much better. Make sure you lower your deck all the way to the ground too when you do this. Not too tight, because that's just plastic cover and a thin deck that's threaded, so too much torque will strip. Especially the older these tractors get, those holes, the water finds them and they rust, and they get very fragile. Okay, we'll come around here and we'll do the same thing here. Make sure the cover goes on just right. 2 little bolts. These are actually self-tapping bolts. At the factory, these holes ain't tapped. They tap it with the screws. They just, with the machine on the assembly line, and just run them right down. Let me set the camera down again. Ooh, that's a nice ratchet wrench. And just remember, these pulleys and all this stuff is very sharp, guys. I've already cut myself 3 times. I had to wipe all the blood off this feller's deck, and it wouldn't be good to get it back to him like that. Okay, there is changing a deck belt on a John Deere S140, and now I'm gonna get on it, crank it up, and engage the blades and make sure she's okay. Listen for any grinding, crunching sounds. Y'all hang loose. All right, guys, man, thanks for watching my first video of the year. Here's to many more to come, and I'm going to send the old belt to my buddy in Columbus, Ohio, so he can exercise with it. Get it?